Welcome to Uzhavan Civil Service YouTube channel. Myself Turisami. You know very well, in our YouTube channel, we are providing the video related to the current affairs for UPSC. So, in our video, we are covering PIB in the newspaper, which was useful for our films as well as the editorial content. So, in this video, we can see last 3 days PIB news and then editorial and other news. Let me move to the session. Okay, first session which was came in the PIP related to the LOKAYAN 26. Okay, what is LOKAYAN 26? It is a parade which was conducted in USA at Boston. Okay, so in our India, from the Indian representative, INS Sudarshini, the boat, the ship can participate. Let's we see some detail about that. Okay, LOKAYAN 26 already we know multinational maritime event which was held where is held, it is a USA. So it can bring all the world ships and showcase the ship sailing in the Boston Harbor. Okay. What is that? It even celebrated as a maritime heritage and then international, it promote the international friendships and then naval cooperations among the nation. You know very well, which is a great parade of sites. Okay, in India, the INS Sudansini was participated in this parade. Okay, what it shows, it is nothing but it can shows our India how rich in the maritime heritage. You know very well, we are continuously constructing many maritimes, warships, and then many other ships. So it can show how India will be strong in maritime, and then India Navy commitment for maritime diplomacy, and then you know very well it can strengthen the India-US bilateral cooperations, and then promotions goodwill. What are the nations are participated in this? It can promote goodwill among the nation. Okay, so let me see some of the information related to the INS Suransini type. Okay, you know very well it is a style training ships when it was commissioned 2012, built by the Goa Shipyard Limited. You know it is a home port Kochi. So what is the purpose of this ship? You know very well it is used for training naval cadets and traditional seamanships, and then it can promote goodwill missions international. There are many countries can host many missions, so in that event our Sudarshan ship will be participate. Okay, that is the news. The just what we can take from this news is that is who conducted the international maritime naval cooperation. It is a USA. So from India participated. It was by the ship of INS Sudarshan. Okay, let's we move on to the another news. You know, Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation released the Consumer Price Index at the base year of 2024. Okay, you know very well. So CPI actually reflect the current consumption patterns of the Indian household, because you know very well consumption patterns was continuously changing due to the various reasons. So in order to using the consumer price index, we can capture how the consumer pattern will be changing. Based upon that, we can frame our policy. Okay, so we know very well average change in the retail prices. Okay, and then it was helpful for measure the retail inflations, how the inflations will persist in our economy. So for that, we are using the consumer price index. Okay, you know very well why the base year was changed to the 2024. What is the purpose? It's a normal thing. It is a we can reflect the change in the consumer spending habits already we seen, and then include the new goods and service, some of the goods and service, because from year on year people are consuming many new goods. So if you are not added that good means we cannot calculate the inflation in the economy. So for in order to updating the new goods and service, it can exactly reflect what was current economic trend in the sales of goods and service. Okay, and then align with the latest household expenditure survey, you know very well. Base year is 2024 So why let's consider 100, it can be fixed as a 100. Some example, 2024, the base year is fixed as a 100. In 2026, it calculated by using that the same thing, it shows the 108. So it means the 8 percentage compared to the 24 in 26, the inflation will increase in the economy. Okay. Just understand the base year of the CPI and what is the purpose of the CPI, who is listed. That enough from this news. Okay. Another one editorial which was related to the how courts handle the case and due to the some judicial delays, how it affect the individuals and a lot of peoples. Okay, 5 crore Indians fight for when the courts take a break. Let me move on to this article in deep. Okay, it is come from the Indian editorial. You know very well. Justice overdue, not on vacation. You know very well. Recently, the Supreme Court has asked a vacation. Vacation means they can reduce their benches, sitting benches. So every year they can follow the same minute for the vacation. So here what is the argument means? In India, there are a lot of pending cases, you know very well. So if the vacations can continuously delay the persons who was under the trials, it can affect the justice, right? So let's we move. What are the things article told in this article? Okay, what are the almost 5.39 crores are pending in our Indian court systems. Okay, judges reserves rest, but should not slow down collectively. Okay, judges need rest definitely because they are continuously working, but at the same time, entire judges can collectively shut down. It will affect the people. It can delay the people justice. Okay, so that is a problem here. What is the another important fact we can take from it? Around 75% of 75%, just think 75% of prisoners are under trials because before the convictions, it's how it shows. Let's think 75%. Some persons are not do any crime activities due to some reason they can in the under trials, so it can affect their livelihood and their family, so it will slow down the one generation back. So how it affect in this economy in the society. Okay, so okay, let's pending cases, you know very well, district courts 4.76, high courts and then Supreme Court, how much cases are pending in these areas, you know very well. Almost in order to solve all the pending cases, almost we need centuries we need. Okay. Mm, okay, why the problem was continuously present in our Indian judicial system? The author suggests that some of the reason is court function is here reduced benches during the vacations. You know, we already just now we are told. And then judicial vacancies. There are multiple vacancies, especially in the high courts. So due to the vacancy, the court cannot function properly. So it can affect the quality of the justice for the people. In the current vacation system, it is a colonial legacy because British only followed because there are Indian government as a unresponsible, there are unresponsible judicial systems was present in the British era. So the same things we are continuously followed like that in this article they argued. Okay, these are the problems. What is the way forward? Staggered judicial vacation instead of closing most of the benches simultaneously. So we cannot close all the benches simultaneously. Instead of that, by rotational basis, we can close means it does not affect the does not affect the court period, and then it can timely able to give the justice to the peoples, right? And then what are the other things? Promote alternative dispute solution, you know very well. It is lok adalat mediations and then arbitrations. Okay, as well as there are many retired judges. If a court can use the retired judges and help to solve the backlog cases, right? And then there are some of the static data fact given. So lok adalat almost scheduled 2.59 crores in one national sittings December 2025, right? Over previous year, just to see 23.5 crore cases over the previous 3 years. And then Mediation Act of 2023 encourage the parties to resolve the disputes before going to the court. That institutions are reduce the workload of the courts. So we can strengthen that inclusion furthermore. It will helpful to provide the justice to the people at the correct time. Okay, that is the article argues about the Indian judicial system. So when we are writing mains answer, so we can quote this thing. We are unable to remember all the fact, but we can see one. In order to solve all the judicial backlogs, we need centuries of years. So by quoting these words, we can show the inefficiency of the judiciary due to the vacancies and then vacancies and simultaneous vacation. Okay, so from that points we can take. Okay, next article is related to the Israel growing the international isolation. You know very well, Israel and then USA and then Iran. USA, Iran, Israel is backed by the USA and supporting. Then Israel was continuously attacked the Hamas and then Gaza regions. Okay, it created the tension over the Gulf region. Okay, let me understand what the articles tells about the editorial. Israel becoming the increasing the isolated internationally. Why it was isolated? Because it only relying upon the military force rather than the political diplomacy. Okay, military can always mix the tension. So suppose they can make the political diplomacy, it can lead to the peaceful coexistence based upon by collaboratively fulfill the all the countries' objectives, right? Let's we understand what are the things which was told in this article. What is the Israel original objective? Actually, Israel was established a homeland for Jews after the century of persecutions, I guess. And then one of the long-term goal was West Asian regional order. Okay, became an accepted member. Israel want to become an accepted members by the West Asian regional order. It is a long-term goal. Okay, it can be solved by based upon Abraham Agar help it can solve. But where is the problem will be started means the Gaza war changed the global perceptions. It was October 7, 2023, Hamas attacked, launches a large-scale military campaign in Gaza. Okay, the scale destructions and then civilian casualties lead to many countries views Israel action as a collective punishment. Okay, it can damage international image, Israel image because it can continuously attack the common peoples and then hospitals. So it can continuously violating the human beings. So from the global countries, it can see they are doing continuously wrong things. So that's why it almost close to the isolated. Okay, what is the regional consequence for that? You know very well. Military action in Lebanon, Syria, and then Iran increase regional tension. You know very well. Gulf countries normalized relations with Israel, but now facing the domestic and regional pressures because of conflict, Gaza conflict. Due to the Gaza conflict, the Gulf countries are relations will be affected with Israel, right? And then another one important things, the strain in the USA-Israel relation. You know very well. Recently, Trump told we are the agreement was signed. We are stopping the war with Iran, but Israel continuously told they are not accepted. So even though USA continuously support the Israel, so Israel not give any proper response to the USA means that relationship there is a possibility is not continue for future. Yes, unconditional USA support may become a less certain if this difference continues, right? And then West Bank settlement, you know very well, Israel continuously settled in a West Bank. It reduces the scope of the two-state solution because it was continuously occupying the another state. And then it was a wide press international criticism already we see. Okay, that is the articles why Israel was continuously isolated. From the international point of view, from what we taken from this article means, mm, it all about political diplomacy is very important rather than the military operations. Best example, Israel isolation. Okay, from there we can write, and then it is related to the Hindu editorial page. Ethanol policy support the sustainable, not just sugarcane. You know very well, we are blended the ethanol with the petroleum, E20 petroleum, by it can be produced by using of the sugarcane cultivations. Okay, What is the problem is, so compared to the normal petrol, the ethanol blended petrol rate was high. So here what is the problem is, government continuously telling there are support the farmer income because we are producing the ethanol from the sugarcane, it can increasing the farmer's income. You just with the let me things. Sugarcane is cultivated by the large farmers, right? But if large farmers are cultivated, they can get benefit. There is a no doubt. Suppose due to the price increasing, the small farmers are affected because of the price increase. The price increase will affect all the product which was buy by the small farmers. Okay, so it is a another one dimensions how it affect the small farmers. So you know very well why they can the article argue means, if you are focusing on a sugar cane, you know very well it is the largest water consuming crop, and then we need heavy fertilizer. The most proven water stressed region, it can continuously increasing the water stress in that area. So that things only, so the ideal price ethanol despite the mileage, and then ethanol does not necessarily improve the farmer incomes. So what is the way forward? So we want apart from the ethanol taken from the sugarcane, we want to maize, millets, and then sweet sorghum, and then agriculture residues. We want to focus on that to produce the ethanol, right? And then second generation 2G ethanol. Okay, it was made up of raw straw, and then wheat straw, and then maize over, and then groundnut cell. It cannot affect the food security because it all are it all are remaining part of the what we consumed, right? Let me move into the another. It is come from the text and context related to the China helium export ban. Okay, okay, China temporarily banned the helium export in 10th July. So reason they did not told. By expert believes that was a reason. We can see what is the reason. Securing the domestic supplies. Okay, today you know very well semiconductor, for manufacturing the semiconductor, that that helium plays major roles. Okay, global helium shortage caused by two things. We know very well: Russia export restrictions, and then tension in a Western affecting supply routes. There is a possibility of say retaliatory measures because US can make some of the restriction for the Chinese product. For to counter that, China can do like that activities. That is the reason some scientists, some expert believes, but we can see why helium as a strategic resource. Why we are considered, because of the simple thing, critical mineral gas. Okay, non-renewable. It was non-renewable. It was only once we can use it, it can be depleted, right? It is difficult to replace with them many high technological application. That means without this, we unable to use manufacturing some of the high technological application. It was essential for several strategic industries. Okay, what are the uses of the helium, MRI emission, semiconductor, quantum computing, and then fiber optical production, and then rocket fuel tank pressurization. ISRO, NASA, in the scientific organizations, space organizations also depends upon the helium, and then leak detection in industries, and then scientific research also we can use the helium, right? Okay, let me understand how helium was produced. Okay, helium is not manufactured artificially. We are able to manufacture. It is formed naturally. Okay, formed by the naturally. How it formed means the decay of uranium and thorium, underground alpha particles becomes the helium atoms, right? Over a million of years, helium accumulate along with the natural gas in underground, right? During the natural gas processing, separate we can separate the helium and purify it. So in order to helium commercially extracted, the natural gas contain at least about 0.3% of helium. Then only it is commercially viable to extract the helium from the gas, right? Why helium difficult to replace? What is the importance? Because helium is a unique properties, you know, real because a low boiling point, right? You want to know it, low boiling point, chemically inert. That means it does not react easily with any other components, any other elements. Non-flammable, excellent coolant, and then very small atoms make ideal leak detections, right? And then no other gas combine all these properties. Maybe these properties may contain any one of the properties may contain another elements, but all the properties cannot contain any other elements, right? Okay, where the helium supply chain was concentrated, you know very well. USA almost 43% and Qatar 33%. Let's who is the major producer of the helium? Helium is US, Qatar, next Russia, and then Canada, and then Algeria. If any disruption, it will affect the global supply chain, you know very well, right? Another one is it was related to the Chinese global state question that safety of the Brahmaputra dam near India. You know very well, the Chinese government constructing the dam in the Brahmaputra river almost near to the Arunachal Pradesh. Yeah, then you know very well Brahmaputra in Tibet, it can called as a Yarlang transport, right? It enters into the Andhra Pradesh in the name of Siam or Diam, right? So why the scientist questions about the safety? Because you know very well, Himalaya is the active convergent boundary of the two plates, that is Indian plate and then Eurasia plate, as well as it is a due to that it is a techno tectonically active region. Same time there is a Poisson fault. It is an active fault near it present in the proposed mega hydro project. So once the dam constructed, it will create any minimum earthquake. It will lead to destruction of dam. It will affect the another area which was lying in the lower terrain. So the scientist question about the safety, right? So let me see what will happen. Another one related to the Kargil, Vijay Diwas celebrated by our ministers. Why? Well, let me see what is the Kargil. You know very well, Kargil was between the India and Pakistan. Further success, we can celebrate it every year for the soldiers who can sacrifice their life for the for our securities. So in for that, our ministries, defense minister Rajnath Singh can make the Surya Vijay Yatra. Okay, it is a national war from motorcycles. It's a motorcycle expeditions from National War Memorial in New Delhi to the Kargil War Memorial. At a part of is a Kargil Vijay Diwas. Okay, you know very well what is the expedition name? Is a Surya Vijay Yatra. Okay, you know very well. Defense ministers route National War Memorial to Kargil War Memorial. It is a duration for 30 days, approximately 1,900 kilometers. Here we want to notice who are the participated of this in this festival in this festival. It is a defense and service defense personnel and then retired defense personnel. You want to note that family members of the defense personnel. What is the motto? One tribe, one nation, and one salute. Right. Another one, the objective you know very well. It is the honor to the courage, determination of the supreme sacrifice of our soldiers in 1999 Kargil War. Right. Inspire this patriotism among the citizens, especially youth, strengthen the bond between the armed forces and then civilians, right? Pay a tribute to the persons who are martyrs in the operations Vijay, and then it was celebrated in 26th July annually for Kargil Vijay Diwas. For the celebration, this event will be conducted before. It will be continuously occur until the July 26, right? So let me understand what is the background about the Kargil War very simply. Background you know very well. Pakistan Army personnel, Northern Link Infantry, and then line of crashed the secretly crashed the line of control. You know very well. And then occupied the Kargil Dars and then Batalik and then Mushok Valley. Right. The intrusion we later only we are discovered the Pakistan people armies were intrusion in our Indian territory. Later that they also occupied in the National Highway 1A, NH1A, and then now NH1. It is a connecting the Srinagar, Dras, Kargil, Leh. Control over this heights India's supply line of Ladakh. Okay, so it will affect our sovereignty, right? So in order to remove that peoples who are intrusions in our country, though there are three major division of our security forces conducted the different operations. Okay, for Operation Vijay, it was conducted by the Indian Army to evict the persons who were interviewed from Indian territory, who are come from the Pakistan to the Indian territory. They are evicted, right? And then Operation Safad Sagar. It was launched by Indian Air Force. It was very important Indian Air Force. It is first extensive use of air power in a Kashmir after 1971. The airstrike was restricted to the Indian side only. It avoided the escalation, right? It not because India always India is more main aim is it does not capture any other country territory, but same time it can defend their country from the other country terrorists or any other army. Okay, that's why they can strike from the India side. It never entered into the Pakistan side. Okay, and then Operation Talwar. Okay, it was conducted by the Indian Army, Indian Navy. Right, you want to know that Indian Navy. It deployed the naval presence in Arabian Sea and then blocked the Pakistan maritime routes. It created the pressure upon the Pakistan to stop to go to return back to their country, right? Let me understand another important news related to the Udyam registration portal and then Udyam assist portal. You know very well, all MSMEs must register with the Udyam registration portal. Then only it can get all the benefit related to the MSMEs which was given by the government. Okay, let me understand. You know very well, it is identified through the simple, paperless, and then self-regulation based free of cost online registration process. Okay, Udyam assist, you know very well. This initiatives empowering the women and then SC/ST entrepreneurs, rural entrepreneurs, and traditional artisans, generating the anti-entrepreneurs. Youth started by making the government support more accessible for all the persons. It is in order to improve the inclusive development, right? Okay, let me understand. What is difference between Udyam registration portal and Udyam assist portal? Okay. Well, it is target is existing MSMEs for Udyam registration portal. It is an informal micro enterprises for Udyam assist portal. Okay, register MSMEs used for register MSMEs is used for formalize the unregistered micro entrepreneurs. It can direct self registration under the Udyam registration portal. MSME can directly register, but it can be registered through the money lending institutions. Some of the money lending institution can lend the money to the micro enterprises. Through that, the Udyam assist through that micro enterprises can register with Udyam assist platform. What is the outcome? It can provide the Udyam registration certificate. It also Udyam assistance enabling recognition of TCR micro enterprises. That is difference between Udyam registration portal and then Udyam assist portal. Okay. Let me move on to the another important one thing. We know very well recently in Chennai, I think recently in Tamil Nadu, there will be the ammonia leak, which has the maximum life loss, right? So scientists are discovered the new ultra-sensitive to find out the ammonia leak. Okay. So what is the? It is easily portable, self-power, and wearable device to prevent the toxic gas exposure. Let me see about what are the features and new sensor. Ultra sensitive. That means it is a even detect very low concentration of ammonia, right? Faster response and then recovery time, you know very well. Portable means it can easily hand held device. We can just wear and we can go. And then self power. It means it can operate without replacing the battery by frequent manner, right? And then real time monitoring. Okay, it can provide the immediate alerts that ammonia gas will be leaked. It can inform the nearby any other first aid stations related to the ammonia leak. It is a technological driven preventive measures, right? Okay. What are the technological behind the sensor? It is made up of advanced nanomaterial. High surface area. Why high surface area? Because high surface area easily can detect the ammonia molecules, right? High sensitivity and then selectivity. Designed for the flexible and integration of integrated into the wearable electronics like our watches like that, right? Let me understand some of the important physical properties of the ammonia. You know very well in H3. It is a colorless and alkaline gas. It is a sharp and pungent smell, right? It is highly soluble in water. You want to note that. You know very well where it is used. It is a fertilizer, refrigerator, chemical, and pharmaceuticals. Toxic, toxic at high concentration. Okay, right? When it was concentrated in more, that time it will affect the human life. Okay, let me move on to the India-Australia nuclear cooperation. Okay, for administrative arrangement signed for a long-time supply of uranium from the Australia. Okay, let me see some of the things. Okay, foreign country over India, Australia. When it was signed in 2014, but came into the force 2015. Right. What is the recent development? It is a administrative arrangement. That means the uranium was used for a civilian purpose, for a peaceful purpose. It was not diverted for any other purpose. So it was very transparency and then more accountable. So all these are recent development ensured between the both countries, right? To what is the main objective in a very well long-term uranium supply for peaceful civilian use, right? It was safeguard of the IAE safeguards in our very well. Nuclear supply groups provide the waiver for India in 2008. So it was more useful to achieve the net zero target by 2070, right? Let me move on to the another news related to the Supreme Court reject the anticipatory bail. Okay, anticipatory bail. What is meant by anticipatory bail means suppose a person can do a serious crime before he was arrested, he can get a bail from the judicial persons. So in order to prevent there are not arrested like that, right? So we can see the difference between the bailable offense and non-bailable offense. I think it was the one time UPSC can ask the questions in prelims, right? Very well. Bailable offense is a small, less serious crime, very well. And then non-bailable is a serious crime, right? In bailable offense, bail you can make a bail is your right, right? But in non-bailable, it's not your right. It is a discrimination up to the court. Okay. So in bailable offense, police or court can give the bail, but in non-bailable, only court decide whether the give or bail or not, right? It usually given quickly because it is considered as a right. It was not given because it is a discriminatory power related with court. No, because in bailable offense, no need any anticipatory bail. So in non-bailable offense, they can apply the anticipatory bail before the arrest, but the anticipatory bail is given is up to the court only. We cannot consider it is a right like that. Okay, let me move on to the another one news related to the unsafe practice. You know very well. This article is all about the safety of the tourism. Recently, we hear the news about the Vietnam where the tourists were due to the uh, boat will submerge in the water. Due to that, our Indian tourists, many people can lose their lives. So, what is the concerns about the articles related to the incident means? So, the weather was very bad during the situations. So, the persons who are sailing the ship, they can very fastly turn over the ship. What will happen means, yeah, people's once they can it can take the sudden U-turn, all the peoples can fall one side. It leads the ship was unbalanced and it can be uh, submerged into the water. Okay. So here what is the article tells means. So there will be a standard, right? The people who are traveling in a boat, they can wear the belt. Once if they wear the belt means they cannot fall down on one side. It does not create any mismatch on a boat balance. So the boat will not down on the sea. So a simple thing, simple safety measure is not followed. It will create a big challenges. Maximum majority of the Indian tourists are prefer for Southeast Asia. So for that incidents, the Vietnam government, as well as in Vietnam, there will be a lot of shipping riding ports events will be held. So for that, the Vietnam government told we will take all the safety measures hereafter. Like that incident will not occur like that. That told. Okay. So that is the argument of the Hindu editorial page. Okay. Let me move on to the holding a court accountable amid the democratic times. Okay, it was related to the special intensive revision, right? You know very well, due to the special intensive revisions in various states, many persons can lose their voting rights due to the various reasons. Okay, what did we understand what the articles argues about that? You know very well, voting is the fundamental rights. It doesn't matter even a single voter is a matters. Okay, it was especially the poor peoples can make the voice only through the voting rights, right? Poor and marginal people's voting is a symbol of dignity and then inclusions. Okay, uh, let me see another slide. Concerns over the SIR process. You know very well. In order to prove you are the citizen of India, the election commissions acts the many executive documents. Many documents people for the poor peoples and the migrant workers they did not have. So they did not have means that immediately they can remove from the electoral list. It can affect their voting rights. It also excludes the genuine voters, okay, who are the regularly obey our laws and the pay a tax. They also uh, excluded from the Indian voting rights. Okay. What is the particularly affect poor people, migrant workers, women, minorities, and then illiterate citizens? Okay, it create the disenfranchisement, loss of the voting rights. Okay, what is the problem here means even though the some of the persons or the opposition parties can make the case on the court, it can delay any decisions. One, the court hearing before completed, the election was completed in that particular state. Then what is the uses of the judgment? So it is the delay in decisions and then judicial involvement. Here, we want to note that judicial involvement and then focus on procedural instead of right. So what actually Supreme Court does means it does not see whether the voting rights of the citizens affected or not. Instead of that, there are instructing the election commission what are the documents you want to consider for a citizen of India. Actually, it is the duty of the election commission. What is the duty of the judiciary? It can it can overview whether the election commission process is right or wrong according to the constitutional principles. So apart from that, it was guiding the election commissions without considering the citizens' voting rights. Okay, that is their problems of today judiciary. Like that, in the articles, they can argue. Okay, there will be institutional neutrality. You know very well. In the concerns of democratic institutions, judiciary may not acting the sufficient independence. Okay, so it argues the opposition make legitimate in a questioning of the institutional democracy. Only the opposition party can make able continuously make the questioning and make the institution more legitimate, right? And then call for public participation. You know very well, for many, vote alone cannot bring major political changes. Citizens and the democratic movements can is very important in order to solve like that major problems because the affected peoples are not have enough strength to move towards a courts or or make any democratic movements. Only that some of the organizations which was interested in the marginalized peoples can do like that activities in order to save the marginalized people's rights. Okay, what are the constitutional provisions? You know very well. Article 326. The elections of the Lok Sabha and State Legislative Assembly is based on the universal adult franchise. that is the articles, and then Article 324, it is all the process related to the elections we rest with the Election Commission of India. Just remember the two articles. Okay. Another one important article related to the right path for India's nuclear power development. What is the articles we can see deeply in matters. Okay. Today, India, very well. Transition toward the clean energy is very important. So for the nuclear plant is must. Okay. Let me saw what was article argues. The international science sections made the India self-sufficient. Very well. After we tested the nuclear test of the Pokhran one, many countries imposed a nuclear science section on India. Okay, India can unable to freely import uranium or nuclear technology or nuclear reactor. As a result, India started to develop a own nuclear technology. The science section focused India to become a self-reliant. Okay, we never depend on any other countries. Okay, in 2008, very well, India US civil nuclear deal changed the situation. Okay, so it ended the restrictions on uranium imports from the other countries. So it allowed the India to import the nuclear fuels. Here you want to note that India is a not member of nuclear supplier goal. That the countries which are present in a nuclear supplier, nuclear civil nuclear deal, the nuclear supplier groups, they can provide the weaver to the India. They can import the uranium like that. Okay, it allowed the India to import the nuclear fuel. Okay, it opened opportunities for civil nuclear cooperation. However, it was very foreign reactors are very expensive, so India unable to purchase many Western reactors because it was very high cost. Okay, India developed the cost-effective nuclear technology. Very well. India nuclear plant is the cheapest among the world. It was a breakthrough achievement, right? Indigenous pressurized heavy water reactors we can made, as well as we increase it the size also, right? And then developed the indigenous light water reactors. Okay, PHW pressurized heavy water. If we want to note what is the difference between PHWR and then LVWR. It is a light water reactor. It is a pressurized heavy water reactor. Okay, it uses the national uranium. Okay, it was the India strength because majority we have the pressurized heavy water reactor. And then light water reactor, it uses the enriched uranium. Okay, it was not used a natural uranium. Okay, it dominate globally. It was dominated, right? India want to develop for the light water reactors because in 2008 nuclear supplier groups, yeah, we see right, provide their weaver, but it does not permit enrichment and then reprocessing technology. So we are unable to import the enriched uranium from the any other countries. So we want to instead of we are focus on importing, we want to made this technology in our country. Okay. Let's we move on to the, very well, India 100 gigawatt capacity was 2047 is our aim. So it can be achieved through the private public participations. Because what is the reason they are participating means it reduces the lower cost and greater self-reliance, and then no technological dependence. We not dependence on any other foreign countries, right? And connection small modular reactor. What is small modular reactor? It is very smaller in size, a smaller nuclear reactor. Okay, today the major tech companies can consume a lot of electricity. So for that, they can use like that small modular reactor means it can reduce the major pollutions, which was currently consuming the electricity through which was produced by non fossil fuels, right? It was very useful for data centers, remote areas, and then industrial clusters. Okay, and then India should develop its own small modular reactors. Okay, imported reactors only when we can accept means for several years it was operated in abroad, because then only we can able to understand that the able to come to the conclusions whether that small modular reactor was safety or not. But India never be the testing ground for any new technology. That is the other argument. Then nuclear safety is the most important. Very well. What is the editorial sense means never compromise the safety, because it is very important. Series of ceremonial case which repeated the experience and then India halt India nuclear program, reduce the public confidence about the nuclear technology, right? So new private entrant who start only with only a few plants and a strong internal. We want to make the internal cultural safety culture. We want to and also continue separate independent safety audits for the nuclear reactors. Then only it can be able to ensure the safety transition towards the renewable energy. Okay, and then user data exposed due to the flaws of UMANG Portal. Okay, if we understand what is the UMANG Portal, it is a unified mobile applications for new age governance. Okay, new age governance. It can integrate central, state, and then local level government services in a one mobile app. So user no need to download many apps for many service. Instead of that, they can download one app. They can get all the service through the app. Okay, it was launched. Who is developed by? It was developed by National E-Governance Division under the Ministry of Information under the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. Just understand UMANG Portal, what is the purpose and who was implemented under the which ministry. That's enough from this news. Okay, let me move on to the another one thing. Today it come in the PIB. I will take for that because we want to understand some of the important things. Okay, India was the world's second largest mobile phone manufacturing now, almost, right? It out of 12 lakh jobs it can provide. Out of that, 70% direct workforce are women. Okay, and then you know very well two important mobile manufacturing hubs will present in Tamil Nadu and then in Kerala. And then here we want to note that mobile phone export become the India largest export items. Right? Let me move on to the another news. Okay, plant yielding the fragrant Kewra is the older than the human civilization. That the plant of Kewra, it was older than human civilization before the Himalaya formation. And we understand some of the features related to the Kewra plant. Okay, it was evolutionary older than human civilization in the Naval Navy. Okay, it believed existed before the formation of Himalayas. Okay, it survived for major geological and chemical millions of years. Okay, where it was distributed, it distributed across the coastal regions. Okay, Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, West Bengal, and then Andaman Nicobar also, right? So let me understand what is Kevra. What is the importance of economic importance? The male flowers are distilled products used for Kevra edible oil and then Kevra waters. It was used for manufacturing of perfumes, costumes, and then traditional medicines also. Flowering sweets for the many other food items. Okay, what is the cultural significance? Known as a Ketaki in Sanskrit, Kevra, and then it was known as a Ketaki. You want to know that? It also mentioned in the Indian literatures and then mythology. The fragrant flower widely used for religious and then cultural traditions in Eastern India. Right? Let me move on to the another news. Okay, the periodical labor force survey was released recently by the NSO under the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. What are the key highlights? Let me understand very fastly. The overall labor force participation rate remained unchanged compared to the previous month. Overall work population ratio also like that same manner, and overall unemployment also like that. And then in urban areas both labor force participations and then worker population ratio improved marginally. Okay, little bit, right? Rural area unemployment rate declined slightly softened. That's thing we want. What we take urban area little there will be improvement, and then rural area unemployment little decrease. Okay, let me understand what are the some of the important terms which was related to the about employment and unemployment calculation. Okay, let me understand what is the labor force participation rate. Okay, this is nothing but the percentage of the peoples, okay, come under the labor force. Labor force include both employed and the persons who seeking the employ. Okay, both it is a wider labor force. So we can calculate the labor force participation rate means labor force divided by populations into 100. Okay, that labor force include both employed and the unemployed persons who currently seeking the employment, right? Let me move on to the another parameter, that is worker population ratio. Here we want to note that here it can only take the employed person. It never take unemployed who is currently seeking the employing and seeking the employment. It only take a person who is currently employed. Okay, it can be calculated by calculating workers by population. Okay, and then unemployment rate. Already we see in a labor force there are two components. One is employed person, another one is unemployed who is seeking the employment. So in order to calculate the unemployment percentage, so unemployment divided by labor force into 100. Okay, you want to note that here we can use the population, but while calculating the unemployment, we are calculating not from the entire population. We are calculating from the labor force because they are only ready to working, right? Okay, I think this terms can understand. Let me move on to the today news. It is later Union government bans the herbicide of Paraquat. Paraquat. Okay, 2 weeks. I think 3 weeks because before this news was come in the newspaper related to the by using the Paraquat many farmers unfortunately without knowing they can drink like that juice. They lead to the life loss. Okay. For it is a type of herbicide. It leads to the death and the self-harm, homicides, and then many accidental death in India. So before that, before the union government banned many the states, such as Andhra Pradesh and then Telangana, Kerala also banned these chemicals. That means paraquat. Okay, this used by the farmers to clean up for land for the next crop. In order to for the next crop, they are using this chemical. They can clean up. Okay, that is a herbicide paraquat. Let me understand some of the other features of the chemical. Paraquat dichloride. Yeah, dichloride. Paraquat dichloride. Herbicide type. It is a non-selective contact herbicide. That what is non-selective means it was not manufacturing for any particular weeds. Okay, weeds means unwanted plant which was present in your crops. So it can generally it can made. So there is a no target. So that is called it is a non-selective contact herbicide. Okay, how it what is the mode of affection? It can affect the photosynthesis and can destroy the cell membrane. Okay, it leads to the death of green plant tissues. Okay, translocation. Translocation means it does not translocate. That means if you take a plant, okay, if you are spraying that paraquat here, that leaves only affected. It does not translocate through the streams. Where the where the parasites will fall on the surface of the leaves, that portion only affected. That is called non-translocated. Okay, kills only the part of it context well control of annual and perennial weeds. Okay, and then pre-plant and pre-emergent weed management and it was used to plantation crops also. Okay, when we move on to the day editorial, yeah, disruptive rise of India new political generation. Okay, what is the article argues, you know very well. Today Indian youngsters continuously participating in the democratic government. Okay, what is the political party is no longer rely on the traditional campaign because traditional means they can go to the home by home and they can ask the vote like that. But today everything will be the online. You know very well. We see what are the things. Okay, youth no longer a citizen in waiting. Okay, future leaders and voters. Okay, today they are actually influencing the elections. Okay, shaping the political narratives and then force the parties to change the strategies and then participate directly in the democratic process. That means demographic dividend changed into the political dividend. Okay, okay, Tamil Nadu is the best example because today the ruling, you know very well. Today the ruling government can win the elections. How it major influence in the youth. The youth has a more power to change the government. Okay, so what it include that the youth have belief in the constitutional democratic system, but there is a mistrust in the institution only, not in the entire democratic process. That the article argues, and then you know very well right of. meme politics by using the many online and their influence their voters from protest to participation. Apart from protesting, today youths are participated in the democratic election. Okay, you know that. Already we told institutional distrust, but they can strong belief in the democratic systems. Okay, it shows it tells the message towards the political party support. They can change their agenda. They can decentralize their mission and vision and promote the youth leaderships in the political participation. That is the message today youngest participation in the elections shows. Okay, like that the articles tells about the Indian political system, how youngsters are influenced. Okay, let me move on to the another news. India US define tech ties. There will be a big ambition, but only little delivery. Okay, let me see what are the reason for that. You know very well, growing defense partnership with the USA over 22 billion. There are many defense equipment we can purchase from the USA. That is Apache attack helicopters and the Chinook heavy lift helicopter, C-7 global master aircraft, and then C-10G 30 G Super Hercules, okay, P-81 maritime patrol aircraft, and then M777 Ultra light howitzers. Okay. However, India is largely just a buyer, but it's not a co-developer. Here only the problem will occur because we are continuously buying means it does not create any effect because anything will we want to modify means we cannot because the technology was created in a foreign. How we can know how the technology was working? So we want to make a country for instead of buying the military equipment, we can manufacture by in a co-developer in technological partner. Okay, that the article argues. And then GEFFF engine, some of the case studies is a flagship example of the defense technological cooperation. It included was the Tejas MK3 advanced medium combat aircraft and twin engine deck-based fighters for Indian Navy. Okay, what is the problems here means the cost was increased sharply. A disagreement over technology transfer, IBR, intellectual property rights, export controls, and the manufacturing right. Okay, it's GE reportedly showed the significant investment we want to need in the production line to improve our defense manufacturing strength. Okay, let me move on to the another one thing. What are the previous initiatives I decided the defense technology and trade initiative? Okay, what is the objective? Co-development and co-production. What is the outcome? Many discussions, very few tangible projects will be completed. Okay. And then also the introduce on the critical emerging technology. See, improves value. It is a critical emerging over AI, quantum computing, semiconductor, biotechnology, space, drones, and the defense technology. And GFO project became the flagship in initiatives, but it was implemented be slow. Okay, and on Hindu X. Okay, it is related to the defense acceleration ecosystem with US. Yeah, what is the meaning to connect the startups in India and the America industry, academy, defense innovators? So far, the produced limited visions of outcomes related to the Hindu X. And then why the gap still continuously exists from the India point of view, we want to technological we need technological transfers. We promote indigenous manufacturing and self reliance and Atmanirbhar Bharat and reduce import dependence. Okay, what is the USA from USA perspective? Advanced defense technology they consider as a strategic asset. It follows the strict export control laws such as ITAR. It means International Tariff in Norm Regulation. What are the things that things means? Sharing, technological sharing, transfer of manufacturing now how it was working, sharing the sensitive defense information. Even friendly countries also restricted under the International Tariff in Arms Regulations. Okay, and then procurement versus the capability. Okay, what is the ideal current models? We are just buying and strengthen the material capability. Which is the best model for developed technology? Build India defense manufacturing capability. India wants a second model. Okay, but that is desired model. Okay, uh, reciprocal defense procurement agreement is nothing but we are providing some of the defense technology or defense vehicles or defense, any other strategic important weapons we are given to the America means for that they can provide give some another like defense some defense aircraft like that they can provide. That is called reciprocal defense. Okay, what is the concern? India defense companies were still developing. Okay, but USA frames are created an uneven playing field. So due to that, India and becomes a more competitive. Okay, so we want to make a level playing field in order to compete with the USA. Okay. What is the India defense expanded the strategy? How they can because military through the military exercises, logistic agreement, interoperability, defense purchases. However, it has not yet delivered sustainable, substantial technology or joint manufacturing for essential for India. That is the uh, editorial argues. What is the editorial argues? Argues means we are strong in the military, okay, in terms of equipments and the latest equipments through the purchasing from the other country, but we not have individual technological capacity like that. The articles editorials argues. Okay, right. Okay, let me see. Saw the another news. Okay, central government amended the act related to the acid injection. Let me see. What is the right to persons with a disability act 2016? Yeah, broaden in the amendment is broaden the definition of acid attacks. What are the key changes? Before that, the acid attacks victims, it's refer only the acid throwing. Okay, but now it included the internal injuries due to the acid. There is a possibility to get some of the injuries in our injections and then acids, similar corrosives. So, in addition to the external effect, it also including the internal problems which was caused due to the acid throwing. Okay, you got to note that the amendment also used applied for a retrospective effect. That means before what are the things will be happened, that things suppose that things affect the internal injuries means they can punishable according to the amendment because it will be applicable for retrospective before committed crimes. That is called a retrospective effect. Okay, why it was no, so now Union Government Amendment means in March, Supreme Court by using the power of Article 142, providing the complete justice to any particular incidents in order to promote the human rights and then human dignity. Okay, the court observed that not fight for the legal ground until the Parliament can produce. So for that, instead of that, it can make the some of the rules to protect the affected persons from the unwanted effect. Okay, that is that he was told. So we almost majority of the topics from the last 3 days we can cover. So I can given the topics here just one time go through it. So in this session it was useful for you. So you can continuously stay on uh, from by compiling the 3 days news. We are providing in one day. I think it was useful to revisions. At the same time, we are providing the PDF in your descriptions. You can download and use it. It was useful, right? Okay. Thank you for all. Study well. Success is always ours. Okay. Thank you.